Somewhere in the darkness, Garion could hear the crystalline tap of water dripping with a slow, monotonous regularity. The air around him was cool, smelling of rock and dampness overlaid with the musty odor of pallid white things that grow in the dark and flinch from the light. He found himself straining to catch all the myriad sounds that whispered through the dark caves of Ulgo, the moist trickle of water, the dusty slither of dislodged pebbles slowly running down a shallow incline, and the mournful sighing of air coming down from the surface through minute fissures in the rock. Begarath stopped and lifted the smoky torch that filled the passageway with flickering orange light and leaping shadows. "Wait here a moment," he said, and then he moved off down the murky gallery with his scuffed, mismatched boots shuffling along the uneven floor. The rest of them waited with the darkness pressing in all around them. "I hate this," Silk muttered, half to himself. "I absolutely hate it." They waited. The ruddy flicker of Begarath's torch reappeared at the far end of the gallery. "All right," he called. "It's this way." Garion put his arm about Ce'Ndra's slender shoulders. A kind of deep silence had fallen over her during their ride south from Rion, as it had grown increasingly evident that their entire campaign against the bear cult in eastern Drasnia had done little more than give Zandramas a nearly insurmountable lead with the abducted Garion. The frustration that made Garion want to beat his fists against the rocks around him and howl in impotent fury had plunged Ce'Ndra into a profound depression instead, and now she stumbled through the dark caves of Ulgo, sunk in a kind of numb misery, neither knowing nor caring where the others led her. He turned his head to look back at Polgara, his face mirroring all his deep concern. The look she returned him was grave, but seemingly unperturbed. She parted the front of her blue cloak and moved her hands in the minute gestures of the Drasnian secret language. "Be sure she stays warm," she said. "She's very susceptible to chills just now." A half-dozen desperate questions sprang into Garion's mind, but with Ce'Ndra at his side with his arm about her shoulders, there was no way he could voice them. "It's important for you to stay calm, Garion," Polgara's fingers told him. "Don't let her know how concerned you are. I'm watching her, and I'll know what to do when the time comes." Begarath stopped again and stood tugging at one earlobe, looking dubiously down a dark passageway and then down another which branched off to the left. "You're lost again, aren't you?" Silk accused him. The rat-faced little Drasnian had put aside his pearl-gray doublet and his jewels and gold chains, and now wore an old brown tunic, shiny with age, a moth-eaten fur cloak, and a shapeless, battered hat, once again submerging himself in one of his innumerable disguises. "Of course I'm not lost," Begarath retorted. "I just haven't pinpointed exactly where we are at the moment."